Once there was a woman whose beauty captivated both gods and mortals alike, Medusa. Everyone who saw her was mesmerized, and a single glance was unforgettable. Crowds gathered at Athena's temple, not to worship the goddess, but to pay homage to Medusa's beauty. Her soft, golden hair flowed like the waves of the sea. At first, this beauty seemed like a blessing, but over time, it would become her doom, as it made her a target for the gods' jealousy and desire. The mighty god of the sea, Poseidon, first laid his eyes on Medusa as she walked along the shore. The waves, restless like his gaze, crashed against the rocks. Medusa knew of Poseidon's power, but she felt no affection for him. However, the pride and arrogance of the gods were unforgiving. Despite Poseidon's charm and power, Medusa remained loyal to Athena and refused him. But this rejection wounded Poseidon's pride, turning Medusa into something more than just a woman, a prize to be claimed. Poseidon's desire grew like a dark storm. One fateful night, as the angry waves crashed upon the shore, Medusa's fate was sealed. Poseidon, using his divine powers, pursued her, and in desperation, Medusa fled to Athena's temple, seeking protection. The temple was a sacred place. No one would dare harm her there, or so she thought. But Poseidon's wrath was greater than the sanctity of the temple. That night, the walls of the temple stood silent witnesses as Medusa suffered under Poseidon's assault. Athena watched in silence, her anger boiling within her. Yet instead of directing her fury toward Poseidon, she dared not intervene. War between the gods was forbidden, and so her wrath turned to Medusa instead. With her gaze cold and unyielding, Athena cursed Medusa. The hair she once envied would now become a symbol of terror. Medusa's golden locks transformed into venomous snakes, and her beauty became a weapon. From that moment, anyone who looked into her eyes would turn to stone. Medusa's curse spread quickly, whispered among mortals and gods alike. The woman whose beauty once drew the admiration of all had now become a target. Brave warriors sought to claim her head as a trophy, but none ever returned. Every man who faced her deadly gaze was turned into lifeless stone, forever frozen in time. Their weapons were powerless against Medusa's terrifying stare, and she, though cursed and alone, remained untouchable. Yet fate had other plans. Perseus, the son of Zeus, was chosen to retrieve Medusa's head. Unlike the others, Perseus was no ordinary warrior. The gods themselves aided him, gifting him their most powerful weapons. Hades gave him a helmet of invisibility. Hermes granted him winged sandals. Athena provided a shining bronze shield, and a sharp sword was placed in his hands. Perseus set out to find Medusa, but unlike the others, he would not meet her gaze directly. Finally, the moment came. Perseus, using Athena's shield to reflect Medusa's deadly gaze, swung his sword in a single, swift motion. Time seemed to stop. Medusa's head fell to the ground, but her tragedy did not end there. From her severed neck sprang two beings, the winged horse Pegasus and the giant Chrysaor. Even in death, Medusa's suffering gave birth to new legends. Perseus carried Medusa's head with him, using it as a weapon in many battles. Her petrifying gaze, once a symbol of her curse, became a tool of Perseus's triumphs. Medusa, who was once envied by the gods for her beauty, had now become a source of power even in death. But the question remained: who was the real monster? Was it Medusa, or was it the gods who had doomed her to this fate?